Welcome back to the Manor. Julian McBain here, and we are back with Entropia Universe. So got a couple things to go through today. First off, we're going to check out this new weak Panleon Hunts instance. Discovered it yesterday. It's kind of cool, so wanted to take a few minutes and kind of look at things and see how that works. And also, I heard a really cool presentation on how to help you convince people of your side of an argument. And so I'm going to give some context to that, and we're going to go through it. But we're going to do it while hunting Panleons in this cool new instance. And yeah. So before we get started, if you're new to the channel, welcome to the Manor. Please take a moment and subscribe down below. We are on the road to 13 million subscribers, one subscription at a time, so make sure you subscribe. Also, please consider going to patreon.com/JulianMcBain if you want to support my work. If you do, you'll get exclusive content. Okay, so let's enter the weak Panleon Hunter's Cavern. Don't be surprised if there's some breaks in the conversation flow, and I apologize in advance. Apparently, I got really congested all of a sudden. It's semi-common for me, so I'm not that worried about it, but it is what it is. Oh, there's a repair guy here. That's cool. So these are all weak Panleons. So we're going to be hunting with a Laconian sword. It's a pretty basic, low-tier, unlimited sword. I actually believe, yeah, we're tier 1, and this might actually be ready for tier 2. No, it's not ready for tier 2 yet, but we're getting there. There. Make sure it's protected. Don't want to accidentally sell it. So, yes, yeah, so you've got this instance, and you've got the area where you can talk to the Zinkimbros. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And, oh, you've got a trader and a repairer, so that's cool. You can't access them once that you enter, but that's cool. And then this guy tells you everything you want to know about the cavern. What do I do? How do I leave? Maybe a hint. Okay. So, he doesn't actually give you a mission. He just talks about things. And then once you climb the stairs, you get this cool hexagonal pattern up here. And, of course, they're the bestagons. If you don't believe me, you should check out CGP Gray's Hexagons Are the Bestagons. What's that? Wait a second, what's that? I want to check that out next time. I'm going to see if I can't hit it. That sounded dirty. Anyway. And then this is the cavern, which is pretty cool. This is actually a really good place to swunt. You can pull out your VSC tool and just sweat the Panleons. But we're just going to hunt for the moment. I'm not going to bore you to tears by making you watch me hunt or sweat these Panleons. But they're Panleons, so they're fairly efficient swunting. And you shouldn't need armor if you have any sort of a decent evade skill. So. But yeah, this is the instance, and then the exit is in this room over here. The Panleons respawn at a fairly decent rate. What's that? I didn't see that the last time. We'll have to check that out. Let's kind of pan over there. Take out this guy while we're at it. It almost looks like an observation deck, but they said you don't get to repair or get more ammo after you get down here, so I wonder if that's something that they had planned on doing and they changed their minds. We're too far away for any sprites to render in there, though, so let's take a look. I mean, and pretty expected. The amount of returns is low key, but this is, you don't do this for fast returns or major cycling. You do this for low key hunting or to complete quests like this. The Cave Master. Welcome to the hunting grounds. Do you need information about this place? How do I get out of here? Any rare creatures? If you search the darker reaches of the cavern, you should be able to find one. Pretty straightforward. Okay. So there are rare creatures. Okay, that just gave us a mission. That just gave us a mission to find this rare creature. The Panleons are also well spread out, so melee players have an advantage over normal places that they fight, where we don't have to draw off mobs in order to attack them. We can actually just walk to them, fight them, and move on to the next one. Whereas in most places where you've got herds of mobs, you have to actually be prepared. Growing up in these caves has made this creature quite powerful. Good to know. It lends itself to better... This is a better space for melee hunting, which is good to know. So, okay, so we're going to search for this particular critter. And while we do, we're going to talk about something that I watched earlier tonight. So it's Monday. And discuss a technique for persuasion that the person talking spoke of. Now, the person in question is Maj Toure. Maj Toure is an activist. And he is very good at what he does. He likes to... his particular strain is he tries to bring the opportunity for people to train with firearms to the inner cities and to spread awareness of firearms and gun culture to responsible gun culture to the inner cities. And so Maj was up there and he's talking at a Mises Caucus gathering, and so there's your context. But here's what he said. He goes, here's the problem with facts. Facts are cold. Facts are not human. They're cold. They're emotionless. They just are what they are. And I'm paraphrasing here. But the gist of it is in here. So what you have to do is you have to empathize first. You have to empathize first. Listen to the experience of the person that might be coming from a different place than you are. Then tell the facts. And then empathize with them again. So for instance, you can be like, I hear what you're saying. This is different from my experience because you live in a heavily urban area. I'm from the country or a rural area. Here's what... so your experience is going to be very different. You have seen, different things in life. You have had different experiences in life. Here's what the facts are. And you don't want to say it like that, but it's like, here's what the research has shown, right? Fact, 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 fact. And you don't hammer them with them. You have to have bedside manner. And then you empathize with them again. So your experience, while is unfortunate, and hopefully this will help alleviate some of the trauma or the misunderstandings that we may have with each other over this particular issue. And this should work with just about anything, right? Now, in Maj's case, it's about firearms, but it should be able to work with economics. It should be able to work with persuasion of any point you're trying to make. Now, of course, there's plenty of room to try and figure these things out. And this is something I'm still processing. But it's really interesting to hear that perspective. Because it's not one you hear very often. Generally speaking, when someone... most debates pan out as such. You have a person coming from a place of strict emotion where it's all about perception, feeling, opinion, and often devoid of any facts don't support the point they're trying to make. On the other side, you just hammer them with facts with absolutely no bedside manner at all. Both have significant weaknesses. Ironically, these are the two sides that the firearms argument tends to be based around, is either the emotional argument against or the factual but completely cold argument for. So there's an easy to make allegory there, but it would definitely work in other spheres as well. Economics is a great one, where cold hard facts well outweigh the percepted emotion and feelings behind how economics should work, even though it's technically mathematics. But mathematics, like facts, is extremely cold, right? 2 plus 2 must always equal 4. 2 plus 2 will always equal 4. There's no bedside manner way of saying 2 plus 2 equals 4. Except you can go as an example. You have experienced a lot of hardship in life economically. It's hard for you to find a better job. You're in a poor area. I get it. I've been to many places in the country. I've been very blessed. When I was poor, I had just managed to save up enough money to move to a place that was much cheaper to live. So I get it. I've been there. I've lived in the similar areas to you, and I've lived in different areas from you. Here's the facts. When you live in, and then fact. And then, so I understand the position you're coming from. I just think there's a better way to do things, and here's my solution for it. And here's the thing. If you're going to argue with someone, this is something Maj hammers home. If you're going to debate someone over a subject, it doesn't matter what the subject is, have a solution. And this is the problem with social media. It does not encourage solutions. It encourages argument. Echo chambers or raucous argument. That doesn't persuade anyone of anything. Maj calls himself a solutionary. What that means is, if you're going to bring a problem to the table, have a solution in mind, or have the courage to admit, I don't have a good solution for this yet, but I'm working on it. Be working on the solution. If you don't come with a solution, even if it's imperfect, a concept of a solution, it's like, you can be like, well, I haven't got this down yet, but here's where I'm going with it. Tell me what your opinion of my framework so far is, so that maybe we can come up with something together. And that's always a good way to do things. You come up with a solution together. Maybe you see things a little bit their way. Maybe they see things a little bit your way. You get together. You come up with a piece of the solution if neither of you have a solution yet. Okay? Cool. So, or you say, I understand this is a problem. Here's what I see the issues with your structured solution are, but I have to admit I don't have a solution yet, or this hasn't been my focus. And honestly, if it hasn't been your focus, maybe it's okay to just kind of step back and avoid the debate at that point, because you can disagree with them, and you could be 100%. You can be 100% justified in your disagreement with what their belief system is, or what their position on a solution to a problem is. But if you're not capable of providing a solution or offering a solution, offering a solution conceptually, because obviously you have to be, even if you have the solution, you can have the perfect, it's like having a cure for cancer. You could know the cure for cancer, but if you don't have a lab within which to work, it's not going to do you or anyone else any good, right? Same idea. Now here's the real trick. It does let me do it. Oh, that's so cheese. So the joke here is that according to the guy up top, once you're down here, you don't have a chance to repair. But if you bring your own repair terminal, it don't matter. How do you like dem apples? Not that I'm making back my repair bill, but that's okay. Okay, so you offer a solution. Come up with a solution. And it doesn't have to be a perfect solution. That's one thing that, like, some people will not hesitate to provide a solution that has absolutely no basis in reality. Other people will not and other people won't say anything until they have the perfect solution, which means they never say anything ever. Neither option is perfect, or neither option really works very well. If you're going to do it, come from a place of honesty, accept and understand the good and the bad of your position, and this is something he hammered home. You have to be willing to talk about the bad shit too. Understand that no matter, in 99.9% of all cases, anything good is going to come with a bad. There's going to be a con. For every pro, there will be a con. Or I should say, no matter how many pros, there will always be cons. That's more accurate. However, and this is something that a friend of mine, Cedric, likes to say. Oftentimes, you're going to be put in positions where you have to make a choice. You can choose the best solution, or you can choose the least bad solution. And frequently, these are not the same solution. And Cedric is someone that I disagree with on many things. Many things. And there have been debates that I have gotten into with him and some of his other friends where he tells me and another person to walk away, to drop it and walk away. And that's legit. But the thing is when it comes to someone like Cedric, he always looks at things and he tries to find a solution. May not always agree with his solution. Might even think the solution's a bad one. But he always tries to come up with a solution. And that's important. And that is that's a puzzle piece I will admit that I have often missed. I have often forgotten about. See the problem. The problem is the problem. What's the solution? And then when dealing with solutions, try to keep the solution as narrow and focused as possible. Solve the one problem and then move on to the next. Because broad-based solutions don't solve a whole lot of anything. They take a chip out of a huge chunk of stuff, but they don't actually solve a narrow issue. And this is something that a lot of people have an issue with too. They'll see a problem and they'll try to change entire systems, entire networks, whole gobs of issues that are all together integrated into one massive scale problem, not realizing that the solution you can't solve all the problem at once. You have to take pieces of the problem and solve the piece of the problem. And that solution is going to help you find the solution to other pieces of the problem. You can't flip a Rubik's Cube. When solving a Rubik's Cube, you can't solve the whole Rubik's Cube at once, right? You have to solve one color first. And then you go to the next color. And you go to the next one. Until all 6 sides are blue, yellow, white, whatever. That's how you solve a Rubik's Cube. Oftentimes, that's problems too. That's a lot of major problems in life. your finances. And I go back to finances because it's math. It's easy to talk about. It's hard to talk about, but from a conceptual standpoint, it's easy because 2 + 2 = 4. You look at your finances. Well, your expenses exceed your income. That's a problem. Why do your expenses exceed your income? Well, let's look at what you're spending on. You got X amount of debt. You've got rent. You've got lights. You've got heat. You've got food. You've got the baby. You've got, all of these things. Okay. Let's look at one piece of the problem and see if there's anything we can do to help resolve it. Well, let's look at rent. Well, rent is going to be pretty fixed. Is there anything you can do to lower your rent? Probably not, but maybe. Can you talk to your landlord about opportunities to do some extra work for rent? In most places, that's not necessarily legal. There are some places you can do that. Doesn't hurt to ask. What's the worst that can happen? They say no. Perhaps you can find a slightly less expensive apartment in another building not too far away. Maybe you can't, but at least you looked. Rent isn't the place you want to start, though. That's a bigger, harder solution. Start small. Look at your food budget. Now, you don't want to cut down on your nutrition. Nutrition's important. And you need to make sure you keep enough treats in there to incentivize you to keep working. Because life without treats is just dull. You get depressed fast, and that's when everything goes sideways. But you know what? Maybe instead of buying 4 bags of potato chips, you buy 3. And they're like, well, what good is that $2? No. Wrong. That $2 can mean everything. If the $2 is applied to elsewhere where it's causing you pain. And it's never the bag of potato chips that's the problem. But the bag of potato chips represents the problem. See how that works? Maybe instead of buying potato chips, you buy an air fryer and you can make your own potato chips. Well, you're like, but the air fryer is super expensive. Yes. But if you buy 1 or 2 bags of potato chips less a week, you can put those dollars aside to buy the damn air fryer. And then once you buy the damn air fryer, you don't have to buy potato chips anymore. You can buy the potatoes, which are a hell of a lot cheaper. And you spend 10 extra minutes slicing the potato. You throw them in the air fryer, and I'm here to tell you, air fried chips taste a hell of a lot better than that shit you get in a bag. French fries too, and French fries are my own personal kryptonite, but seriously, see how that works? You have a problem. That small problem, it sounds like that $2 isn't going to be much of a solution. That $2 saved over time gives you a bigger solution. You no longer have to buy potato chips or French fries or whatever at all. You can make them yourself for far less than you could buy them for. Because potatoes are cheap. Potato chips are not. And they look cheap. $3, $4 for a big bag of potato chips. That doesn't sound too expensive. Until you're buying 2 or 3 of them a week. That's $12. What's the cost of the average air fryer? $150? Hang on. So, okay. So let's go middle of the road. Look, you can get them as cheap as $40, but go middle of the road. Call it 100. I know like the 159. It's 160. Okay, $160 for a decent sized air fryer. That'll really get you a good, like you can make enough French fries for 2 people as a side for a meal, or as for 1 person for like an order of poutine or a plate of poutine, or just as a snack where that's all you're eating. Not necessarily the healthiest, but air fried is actually better than deep fried. Okay, $160. How many bags of potato chips is $160? Well, current price of a bag of potato chips. Calculator? There it is. Let's say it's $4. 40 bags of potato chips. So 40 bags of potato chips. Let's say you buy an average of 3 bags a week. 13 weeks. In just over 3 months, you'll have an air fryer, right? If you were to stop buying potato chips for 3 months. I'm not necessarily recommending to do it that way. Stretch it out over 6. Still buy yourself some potato chips. But now, you've got a far more permanent solution for far cheaper. And now you're not spending $12 a week on potato chips. Maybe you're only spending $2 a week because that's how cheap potatoes are. There's your solution. And now, 12, 24, 36, 48, minus the $8, so you're saving $40 a week or a month. That's not chump change. That's a tank of gas. Well, it used to be a tank of gas. So there. I broke down the problem. You break down the problem into its manageable parts. You found one solution. One solution to a piece of the puzzle. Now you can move on to the next one. Didn't mean to go into a financial lecture. That was just to kind of dovetail off of the previous one. So, okay. To exit this room, you just go into the circle here. You get teleported back to the surface. I'm not done down here, so I'm going to just kind of be in here where I won't get attacked for the moment and then go back out and hunt. Hope I didn't go too far off the rails for you guys. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe down below. We are on the road to 13 million subscribers, one subscription at a time, so make sure you subscribe. And as always, really appreciate the support. We will see you in the next one.